My God, how did we not kill ourselves today with this? I can't even get it back in now. This was the sledgehammer that we tried to use today. I don't know how it worked. Okay. Oh, there it is. You can see the handle is perfect though, isn't it? But my dad passed it on to me, so I'm going to keep this thing forever. And my son Tyler and I used this today to put a mailbox together. Coolest thing in the world. We actually had a hacksaw today. We actually couldn't use the darn thing because it was too small. Needed a level, so we got a level, and we needed this because, well, I mean, if I explained everything I did with the tools, I'd probably be here all day because I don't even know what this is called, some kind of a thingy. But we actually did find some really cool power tools because I bought this power tool. You know, it was really cool because we couldn't find it for about maybe 20 minutes today. I have this kit that my dad gave me. Oh, of course we got to have the shovel because we're digging dirt out, so it's really important to have a shovel. This thing that my dad gave me, I mean, it was perfectly made kit when I got it. And you can see that I just shoved stuff in there. Remember I showed you the hacksaw? Well, the hacksaw didn't work too well trying to cut a 4x4 post. This didn't work too well either. But actually, at least it had the... Oh, shoot. No, that wasn't... No. That was supposed to not be plugged in. So we actually tried to use this hacksaw. I'm not going to touch it again because I'm going to hurt myself. We tried to use this hacksaw and it probably got about maybe a 1/16 of an inch in, and we finally realized that's not going to work. So we went out and we got two regular saws that I hadn't used in probably 20 years. Again, they were my dad's old saws. And I held the 4x4 on a couple old saw horses that my dad also used for many moons. And I turned to my son at one point and I said, you know, I really like building stuff with you. And it's just amazing to think that, all right, watch. I can do that. I can do that without scaring myself. It's really wonderful to think that even though I don't have any expertise in all these tools, I know what some of them are. I know how to use some of them. I know where half of them are. When I use them, when I pick them up and I use them, I don't really gain that much confidence that I'm going to be the guy that can build a house next time. But I gain the confidence that I can do this with my son. And that's the same thing that I've learned over the years working with other people, is that the most important thing isn't that we're experts in using the tools. It's that we know where the heck the tools might be. We've got some familiarity with the tools. We're willing to pick up the tools. Well, the most important thing that I've learned over and over again, we can each help each other to use these tools. One of the most important things I've learned is to reach out to my sponsor. Hello, Richard. One of the most important things I've learned is that he's not an expert in using these tools. He doesn't have all the answers. Sometimes he measures once and cuts twice. Sometimes I measure twice and I cut once. I can't imagine how frustrating it would have been if I didn't have Tyler by my side doing more than half the work. Thanks, Ty. I couldn't imagine doing this if I didn't have my higher power in my life. See, a lot of the tools that I use on a daily basis all stem from my relationship with a power greater than myself. And I wasn't sure I was going to talk about this today, but I'm going to talk about this today. In the last 34, almost 35 years, I have struggled mightily with a relationship with a higher power, with a relationship with a spiritual entity outside of myself, with a relationship with some spiritual foundation, with a relationship with God. When I came into recovery in 1986, I thought, I know who God is. I was raised with a certain religion. I understand that there's a God in this world, and I'm all set on that. And it took me about a year to realize that the same God that I understood, the same relationship that I had had through all my addiction, through all my abuse, through all the abandonments, was a God that, if all these bad things weren't supposed to happen, he wouldn't have let them happen. It was a God that, if I wasn't supposed to be drinking alcohol, he wouldn't have invented hops. And if I wasn't supposed to be molested, he wouldn't have let that 4-H leader have me alone in that room. If I wasn't supposed to be abandoned and put up for adoption, he wouldn't have let that happen. That wasn't a higher power. That wasn't a God of my understanding. That was a God of a very lonely understanding, of a very twisted understanding, of a very absent God that didn't care about me much and that I really didn't know how to relate to. But I tried. And over the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in my recovery, I tried everything I could. I went to this church and that church. I prayed and meditated. I had a spiritual leader. I had a spiritual guru. I had spiritual people in my life. And I talked and I prayed and I meditated and I talked and I prayed and I meditated. And I tried to find my way. And every time I felt like I was getting close to my higher power and I had a relationship, it just went up in smoke. It didn't feel right. It didn't sound right. It didn't seem right. There was something false. And I remember the day that I went to my sponsor in real tears and frustration and said, I don't think that I can believe in God anymore, but I'm afraid not to. If I don't believe in God, I'm not going to be able to stay sober. If I don't believe in God, I'm going to be lost, even more lost. And I haven't gone this far in my recovery. I haven't worked this hard to be dropped on my head. And my sponsor, Richard, looked at me and said, Kevin, you have a higher power, that it's okay if you don't believe that you have a higher power. In one sentence, he let me off the hook and kept me on the hook. And I decided that I would live without a power greater than myself. And the time went by. And there were moments when I would say, God, I'm so happy. Oh, wait, no, you're not there. There were other times when I would say, oh, no, my life is so hard. Please, God, please. No, wait, no, we're not doing that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be horrible, and it wasn't. It just wasn't. I don't think I was agnostic, but I was playing one on TV. I don't think I didn't believe in God, but I was trying not to. And that's what it was like for that year, that time when I said, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't know if God's in my life and I can't find God, and I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to follow this anymore. Life just lost its colors a bit. Things got a little more gray. Things got a little more dim. But one day I realized that I knew that there was some higher power in my life. There was some higher power in this world. And I just felt completely incapable of having any relationship. And I'd been praying for many, many years before that. And I decided to try one more time. And my prayer was simply this: God, I know that you are, but I don't know who you are. I can't find you. Please lead me to you. And I spent the time with that prayer every day. It was the only prayer I would pray. And those were actually some of the hardest days. Because the time when I was searching for my higher power, I might have been frustrated, but I felt guided in some way to search. And the time when I felt like I was not acknowledging God in my life, I felt like things were, like I said, gray. And it felt awful. But when I said that prayer, and I recognized that I was incapable of finding God, and I asked God humbly, please lead me to you. And then the next day, he didn't. I felt so dark, so lost, so scared. I do hesitate to tell you the details of my own spiritual awakening, my own spiritual path, because I don't want anyone else to compare their path to mine. I'm not here to tell you what path to take. I'm not even here to tell you that I'm confident of my path. I do know that that prayer changed one day, because one day I did feel like God was knocking on my door. And I came home that day and I said, God, I know that you are, but I don't know who you are. I can't find you. Please lead me to you, but please not that. No, don't be that God. Don't be that higher power. And I had to laugh, because that's the higher power I have today. Even though I may not have a perfect relationship with a power greater than myself, even though I don't even know how to measure my relationship and my spiritual growth in anything more than maybe a couple of eighths of an inch. I'm no spiritual guru. I'm no spiritual enlightened man. I'm just a man who wants to have a relationship with a power greater than myself. Because I know that I have a higher power, that I don't have to be the expert in all the spiritual tools, because my higher power is the expert. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be right. I don't have to have all the answers. And I certainly wouldn't want to give my answers to you. All I know is, one thing for sure, that these spiritual tools that I have, you can have them too. So this is what it's like for me at the end of the day when I've used all my tools. I'm worn out a little bit. My back's achy. I'm sweaty. I'm definitely needing to shower and needing to clean up here. But you know what? I'm stronger because of it. And I've got some confidence that the next time I need to go find these tools, I may not even know exactly where I left them, but I'll be guided. And I've got a new mailbox. Thanks for taking the time to listen today. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you share. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And please comment. Please engage with me here, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere else that you can find me. Can't wait to see you next week. Take care.